Everyone dreams of living an uncommon life, and the best asset you have to achieve your dreams is you. Welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. We're going to introduce you to people who are living uncommonly. We're also going to give you some tools and strategies for building wealth and for pursuing an uncommon path that is uniquely right for you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the long-awaited podcast where we re-interview Cody Kowalski, the intern of 2025. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday today for us, but probably not for you.
Tuesday, here we go.
We usually send these out on Monday. But Cody Kowalski, you are the first intern that Uncommon Wealth has ever had. This is the second one. We did one about 10 weeks ago. Now we get to just kind of recap of what you learned, the things we're bad at. I remember talking about that, which I'm sure there's a ton. So I bet you this will be the most listened to ever in Uncommon Wealth podcast
I'm
history.
sure it's just going to skyrocket.
Skyrocket. You want to talk about getting viral. Here we go. Okay. Let's start with what did you learn at Uncommon Wealth Partners for your 10 weeks of internship? We'll start there.
I learned that when there's a problem, you just call somebody. Like, there's people to call, and there's always people to call, and that's something I learned.
That's good.
But actually what I learned is, gosh, that's a great question. I think I learned how to be uncomfortable. Like, there's a lot of things. I remember the first time that I got thrown into the meeting, it was actually with some clients of ours, and we showed up, and Phillip's like, yeah, actually you're going to introduce, and show them the plan and do part of the plan reveal. And I was like, I've been here for like 4 weeks, and like, these are clients who like kind of like would have been really important for the firm and would have been really helpful. And he's like, yeah, you're going to do that. I was like, all right, here we go. So that was really nerve-wracking, but I just got uncomfortable, and now I feel like more confident doing it if I had to do it again. So Definitely Phillip's good at just throwing you around and saying, figure it out, and you make some mistakes. So like, one of the things I screwed up on was I was creating a birthday email, and a few of our clients, they got a birthday email 60 days before their birthday. And one of them emailed us and was like, hey, like, I think your software is a little screwed up here. You can just send out a birthday email, and it's my birthday in 60 days. I was like, oh, better fix that. So some of our Uncommon Wealth folks got 2 birthdays this year from us.
That's right.
But learned a lot and learned how to fail and just kind of laugh at yourself as you go. So, but Phillip does a good job of that and letting you have the reins and gives you enough rope where you don't hang yourself, but where you get to learn. So
good. Okay, what are we horrible at Uncommon Wealth Partners from your perspective?
What a question. What are we horrible at? What are we bad at? Well, it's been such a new, like, I came here and like a lot of things have changed, And so it's hard to say. I think one of the things that I would say I got to improve upon or grow the firm was, when you enter into data in the system, not having to do it multiple times, but doing it one time. And so I think there was some redundancy in people and things not being as efficient as it ought to be, or maybe not leveraging technology or trying to sync different areas of technology to then meet in the middle. So you can just have one thing doing 2 things instead of having 2 things doing separate things. And so really got to jump in on that and have a lot of fun doing it, and just finding ways to send, how do I do a broadcast email, or how do I, have this certain software that then kicks information here and here. So I think that was something that it wasn't a strong suit of Uncommon Wealth, but just got to tackle that. And it was probably one of my favorite things at the internship for sure, because it just was meaningful, and it actually was a meaningful project. And
impacted us.
Yeah, huge. For sure.
Yeah, so I think efficiencies is what I would say we were bad at. And you did a great job of helping us be more efficient. So that was huge. Okay, you've alluded to it. There was a lot of changes. So I'll speak to this, and then you can kind of speak it from your perspective. 3 days into your internship, my executive assistant of 5.5 years basically just said, listen, I'm done here, and got a different job, honestly, as it comes to find out. And so I came to you and was like, hey, your internship just got upgraded. Hang on, we're going to go through this whitewater together. And Cody has such a great personality and perspective, and So he just jumped into it full head first, I would say, not even know how deep the water was. And so that was challenging, but also really unifying, because one thing I was finding out fairly early was like how efficient we were, that we were in one location, because you came to my house and we're officing out of our house currently. But I just saw how efficient we were when we were working together. So I knew, even though you probably weren't fully trained, you definitely weren't at 3 days in, how much we could get done because we were just lockstep. You know, I see you, you see me, you can ask questions right away. But that changed pretty quickly. So you were an intern from, I would say, kind of on the bench to like, hey, our starter just got hurt and you're in. So what was your perspective on that? Because a lot of things has changed.
Kudos to you for stepping up. And because obviously when someone's 3 days trained and you say, okay, come take on this role that someone had for 5 years, the owner has to take a lot more on. And so kudos to Phillip for taking more on. But relating to that, it was a great opportunity to just be uncomfortable and get thrown in on something. It was kind of fun. I get to be like, yeah, I'm the executive assistant now. And so big deal, but not really, because I still don't understand the whole ropes of everything at all. And so just getting to learn and grow, specifically, I can't think of what specifically would you say?
Well, I think you just did a really good job of like stepping into the unknown. Yeah. That would be something I would say. And with a good attitude, which was life-giving to me. I listened to this book recently. It was David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell. And I really wanted to challenge myself, and I hadn't read the book then, but I do feel like this is kind of a mantra of my life, is like when you're down and out and you feel like there's nothing else ahead of you, or there's like odds are stacked against you, maybe that's the best blessing that you can have. Because when that happened, only thing we could do is get efficient. We couldn't fall back on bad processes that we had. We had to be efficient. Yeah. And so looking back, it was a huge blessing that happened, because we both were looking at each other. You didn't really know what to do, but you were like, well, we can make things more efficient. Yeah. And we had to do that. Like there was no other.
There's no way. You have to start cutting the fat off.
That's right.
If you don't, then you're not actually going to get where you're going. You're going to be working 60 hours a week.
And this is a plan. This is kind of like a reveal of what I've kind of learned, is like how inefficient we were and how more efficient we are now, just because we had to be. We had to be kind of gritty and resilient, and we had to like, okay, we got to look at some things and we have to automate some things. Hence like the birthday email going 60 days out before. Like, hey, that's something that's important. We got to do this. We got to automate it. How are we going to do it? But okay, so that's something that if you want to read a fun book that gives you a different perspective on things, read David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell. It's a good book. Okay. You were married for 10 days when we first started.
I think so.
Now you've been married about 3 months.
That's right.
So anything change in that?
In the marriage?
Yeah, like your perspective on your marriage, or?
Yeah, I think in terms of the marriage, the biggest thing, gosh, it's been such a life switch. And I bet all of the married folks out there are kind of laughing. They're like, yeah, like totally. It changes. But I'm getting used to it now. You know, it's like I get to come home to my wife, and it's a wonderful blessing to get to spend time with her and spend our evenings together. The biggest switch, I would say, is just like for instance, today, like when I don't eat breakfast, like I get a granola bar, I head out, and it's like I'm making eggs and sausage in the morning, and it's like that takes away from my time. And so just learning, it was really fun getting to talk to some of the clients we have, and just they would come and they would say, they newly married, and they'd always give me advice. And it was just
I think
so
I would
fun.
ask them like, hey, what's your best
it's great
advice for Cody?
And so like I get these client meetings, and it's like I'm going to a marriage counselor. It's just all these like pre-retiree 60-year-olds just telling me about their marriage. And I remember one of them, one of our clients, he told us, he's like, make the bed for your wife in the morning. I was like, all right, like I guess I'm making, like I used to never make my bed, like ever. Like I would be like, I have better things to do in my morning. I want to do this. I was like, I don't have time for that. And now it's like my wife wants the bed made. Let's make the bed, or let's start getting the coffee rolling in the morning the night before, so she doesn't have to. And so there's a lot of those things that's just a total switch up in your head. And so that's been the biggest change. And it's not been easy. You know, it's been like getting kind of kicked in the butt, like, oh my gosh, I am so selfish. And so that's the biggest change. Good. And it's always a process, but it's fun having Phillip be like, hey, what'd you do last night? Like, how's your marriage going? And so those are probably fun conversations with him. So
yeah. I just recently I was like, hey, what was my question for you just yesterday?
It was like, what's the biggest
change or something that you have, and you're like, man, just how attentive I have to be with how clean. I just didn't have eyes to like.
I was like, I need new eyes.
Yeah,
like, I can't even see it. She's like, she needs things so clean, and I'm like, there's like a speck, or she sees bugs and spiders crazy. So like, I have killed more bugs and spiders since being married than I ever have, because I just let them crawl on me. Usually, I'm like, I don't care, and now they're just everywhere. And so I have new eyes to see. So that's been another big change of being married. Is like I can clean now.
That's good. Oh man, dude, marriage is so refining. Dude, it's good.
Yeah, I feel sharpened. Okay. Talk about cutting off the fat of the business. I feel like I'm getting my fat cut off.
All right. So at the beginning of your internship, you had two choices that you were like really weighing on the direction of what you wanted your career to be: ministry or financial advising. And so walk our listeners through your kind of thoughts on that and where you're at now and such.
So didn't really tell Phillip this, but I was like, there's no way I'm going to be a financial planner. I'm totally going to be a pastor. Like, that's what I want to do. And so I got here with that mindset, and it kind of just totally slowly flipped. And I was like, wait, I love this job. I love what I'm doing. And so I started to think like, I actually really enjoy financial planning and helping people in this way. And I got really passionate about it and learning about it. And my wife, I would always be telling her about random things I was learning at night and everything like that. And so that started to switch. I realized I really enjoyed personal finance. But I also was like, I want to stay involved in ministry and continue to serve people. And Phillip does a good job of that, of seeing him do that and meeting with people and loving on people. And so I kind of started to realize that I can start to view this job as a way to love people. And I think God, he gives us, he uses different people in different careers to do God's work. And so I get to serve people through this job and be saying, I get to do the Lord's work in doing that. So like just in doing the work itself is such an opportunity just to be able to say, hey, I can help you with your finances and help you, have clarity about, where you should go next and how you can just have that burden taken off your shoulders. That's such a gift to be able to do that. But on top of that, there's just also such an opportunity to minister to people's hearts, because a lot of times people come and they come to a financial planner when they're hurting or when a big change comes. And so both of those were just like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And then on top of that, I was like, well, I still do kind of want to, I think one of the gifts would be able to speak in front of people and lead people in that way. And so there's always in the back of my mind, like, would I still do that on the side? And so there's opportunities to do that. I know Phillip was like, you could do this or that, but I got to speak actually at a camp and just preach God's word at the camp. And that was a great experience. It was as another cutting off the fat experience. Like, oh my gosh, like getting ready for this thing was so stressful and what is going on? So I think I've just kind of opened up to like having a different lens of how I can see my work as ministry to the Lord, and then also how can I find those things on the side to do as well. But that's kind of where I'm going, and it's just kind of a door opened, and when a door opens, you walk through it. And so that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm excited for where I am.
Good. Okay, so you had an opportunity to have an internship at another firm, and you basically chose Uncommon Wealth over this other firm, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any insight in how that internship would have gone? Here's the full story. When Cody backed out on this other company and went Uncommon Wealth, the other company asked him like, "Hey, do you have anybody else that would be a good intern fit or a fit for our company?" And you got your friend that internship. So you have been texting with him a little bit, and like so. How has his internship maybe differed from your internship? Maybe we'll go there.
Yeah. So I think for him, like that specific firm, they, so where he's at right now is he's having to do a lot of the back office, work, and he's more just sitting in meetings and doing notes and kind of like not really getting jumped in the whole thing and really being able to do anything that's specifically meaningful, because they already have such a team there, and they already, and specifically, I think they serve, less clients, but perhaps really high net worth clients. And so it's even more of like that, like resistance of like, do I want to throw this person in here because like, this is, I don't know, whatever. Right. But, in contrast to this internship, I think the clearest difference is just that it's more, you get, a front row, and you get to get thrown into things, and you get to have more opportunity. And also you just get to grow more. And I think that I've grown more here in learning all aspects of the business, education wise, and also I have more of an incentive to want to learn education wise, because I actually get, a front hand to do this stuff.
You see how important it is.
And so for him, it's very different contrast, but I'm really thankful I got to choose here.
Oh, good. Okay, what's your favorite aspect of UWP that you've been a part of thus far?
Oh, the clients. They're so fun.
Aren't they great?
I think of two of our clients. We were just met. I don't know if I should say their names in the podcast.
Don't say their names.
Probably not. But gosh, they were just so fun meeting with them, and all of them were just so fun to meet with. But the clients
they're great. Uncommon.
They're uncommon. I think Phillip is just a nut. Like for instance, we meet with our clients and they're like, does Phillip talk like this to all of his clients? And I'm like, yeah, it's just Phillip, man. Like it's just who he is. Or he'll get on the phone with like, some service representative from some random, like whatever, like one of the people we're using. And like most people are just ticked off because they're like, like I don't want to be here right now. But he's just like, can you slow clap my client into this like account transfer? And he's trying to make fun out of these so now I'll be on the phone with like Iowa State, like student aid, and I'll just be making jokes to these people. And then my wife and her sisters are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's just what you do. It's how you
make people's day.
Just be uncommon. So
love it.
That's been a fun little whatever part.
It's good. It's good. Okay. So your roles or rocks, as we talked about our first podcast, were to make a one-page financial plan, put together some marketing calendar, be in meetings, and then, just basically kind of like open up accounts, learn how to do trading, things like that. So let's go through the one-page financial plan. So you did a great job on that. We spent a lot of time on that. And at the end, we decided that because our clients are so different and uncommon, that doing a one-page financial plan for every one of our clients was going to be different every time.
Yeah.
And so we decided like, hey, we got to really think through the systems that we have currently, because we have to be efficient and we have to maximize those systems. So we do have a one-page financial plan for everybody. It just might be a little bit different on the high levels and highlights of other people. So we ended up doing a lot of work on that and ended up being like, well, hey, we're going to use the systems that we currently have in order to have that one-page financial plan. So I feel like that's completely done.
Yep.
You rocked that out of the park, and then it just changed what we wanted it to be. The marketing calendar, you've been instrumental in that, and you just kind of galvanized that just last week.
Yeah.
Or earlier this week. So great job on that. Nailed that. And then just being in meetings, I feel like you've been a breath of fresh air to our clients. And then to me, I haven't had anybody in the meeting for a long time. So it's been great to be able to have somebody else have an internal perspective of our clients and what I get to see. So that's been a gift to me. Okay. So in the first podcast, I asked you, what did you see yourself doing in 5 years? You'd be 26 years old. You'd say you probably have a kid by then.
Oh, yeah.
Vocationally, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Vocationally, I see myself working here. I see myself as by then being licensed, and then also trying to have a CFP, and then working to be a financial planner with clients.
Nice. And having your own clients.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And then, what are you anxious about? I asked you that in the first, like, what do you lay in bed and like, what are you anxious about? And you said back then, like, really nothing.
Yeah.
Is there anything now that you're like, that just keeps coming up?
There's really it's just been such a season. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm usually an anxious guy. And it was actually cool talking to Danny yesterday because she's a little anxious. I was like, you haven't been anxious in like 3 months. This is the first time, And so I feel like anxiousness for a little bit, it's just been such a smooth sailing lately. So not really specifically anything. I think in terms of the actual financial planning practice, if I were to say what I would be anxious about, it's going to get clients, prospecting clients, really just because when you're, young and you want, it's hard to tell people and say, hey, like, you can trust me, because it's like you have an age gap, and it's like not only just trusting you with the financial perspective of their money, it's also like, do I trust someone who's 20 years younger than me? Like, that's a really challenging. And so I think that's led to some anxiousness of like, I need to learn, I need to like maximize and figure out all this stuff right away. And I just don't think, I want to learn, I want to educate, but I want to do that healthily and not just like consuming myself out of fear. And so that's been one anxiousness.
Good. Yeah, good. I would say that then you're in a good place, because I feel like where I'm at kind of is like trying to figure out how do I start transitioning newer clients that I get to somebody. So I think the trajectory you're on and the path that you're on to try to understand all the things that you're understanding currently is like your best bet.
Yeah.
Understand that. So then when we do get new clients at Uncommon Wealth Partners, you can then shepherd them and advise them. So I think that's good. Okay. So basically, when I think about Cody Kowalski, there's times in your life where you feel like God has totally met you even before you needed the issue, or even before you needed to be met. I'll just say that. And I feel like you're one of those things for Uncommon Wealth Partners. I said yes to you as an internship, not really even knowing.
Wasn't a good idea.
It wasn't a great idea.
From a business perspective,
not a great idea.
This guy, like, come on, like, what's going on here?
But I did have a heart, and I did feel like God knew what we needed, because it come to find out, like, you were the biggest blessing when an executive assistant said, hey, I'm kind of done here. I just didn't know what to do. And if I didn't have Cody there, oh man, it would have been like, I would have been a little anxious. Let's just say that. And so for me, it'll always be something that I'll always reflect on, and how good God has been to me, just introducing us. And then I guess stepping out in faith and saying like, yeah, like you should be an intern. Like even back in the conversation, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but, and God had a plan. So that was really cool for me.
I remember in that conversation you said to me, what was one thing, if you could have anything, like what would you have? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I didn't really know what to say. In your response, you said faith. And now looking back, think about like 6 months later, 9 months later, like how did God, like you literally said that and see what happened. Like wow. That's pretty special. That's pretty Even sweet. The connection there of like you had faith, and look at how God chose to bless you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Good. Okay, the other thing I wanted to say and touch on in this podcast is you've done an incredible job of using technology and making us more efficient. And so one of the things that we now have to do, because this has kind of been galvanized towards the end of your internship, now we just need people to go through the process and see how it feels. So if you're listening to this and you want to do a financial plan, we need people to go through our process, and we can do it free of charge for the first like 3 or 4 people that do.
Yes, for sure.
Just so we can iron out some of these things. That would be life-giving to us, and I think it could be really beneficial to somebody else that you've listened to. If you're a client, you can send this to somebody. Here's the deal. Have them call us or schedule a meeting with us online and type in their Jumanji. That's all I need to know. And then we'll take the first 4 clients that say Jumanji in this and then schedule. We'll do their financial plan for free, and then we'll run them through the process that you've built, and we'll just see how it is. And there could be some things that we need to iron out. There'll be some kinks, but again, that's why we're doing it for free. So if you're listening to this and you're a client, and you could maybe send this to somebody else, this podcast, or just tell them like, hey, here's the link, sign up, you get a free financial plan. Then we can put that together. We'll iron out some kinks, but maybe tell them that first, so it's not like this is a smooth sailing. Yeah, this is a fine oiled machine. But anyway, Jumanji. I thought that would be fun. So anyway, thank you, Cody. You're such a blessing to Uncommon Wealth Partners and our clients, and just your perspective and attitude has been life-giving. So thank you for taking the internship, and Cody's going to stay on till January, basically end of this year, because he's taking a gap semester. Mm-hmm. And then he'll go back. At least this is a plan now. Again, things change quickly, but he'll go back to Iowa State for one more semester. He'll then graduate, and then the plan is that he'll come back and then rock Uncommon Wealth, and he'll get licensed and start taking on a little bit more responsibility. But again, thank you. Honestly, thank you to the Lord for just blessing me and providing you, because you've been a blessing.
Sweet. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, you've been listening to Uncommon Wealth Podcast. Thanks again for just being on this journey with us. We're grateful for you, and thank you for your time. Until next time, go be uncommon.
That's all for this episode, brought to you by Uncommon Wealth Partners. Be sure to visit uncommonwealth.com to learn more about our services. Don't miss an episode as we introduce you to inspiring people who are actively pursuing an uncommon life.